Welcome back for another top-notch video. This week, guys, we're going to be looking at a little video about retirement savings or money allocation, where you should be doing what you should be doing with your funds. So basically, I usually do this channel for TSP folks, but this can apply to just about anybody. Where should I be putting my money? A lot of times it's confusing with where we should be putting it with debt or savings account or a Roth IRA or 401k. Where should I be concentrating my funds? So that's the topic for today. Very short video. Going to look at a really good demographic chart, just kind of give you some ideas. If you have any questions or comments, go ahead and write those in the comments below. There are different methods and strategies, so if you think there's something that's worked better for you, let me know. Let's dig right into it. So this video that came out from Brain Surgeon in 2014 basically stated it's sort of like a retirement wrapper in a sense. It's what you should be investing in first in regards to retirement. So with retirement, one of the first things you want to have is some kind of emergency fund set up and in place. That's the very, very first step of what you need to have. So that way when emergencies pop up, such as when your car breaks down or you have some issue happen in your life that you're not expecting, you have that money that's liquid and you can use that instead of a credit card or something else to dig yourself further into debt. Now ideally this should be 3 to 6 months. This can take a number of weeks to build or a number of years. I know with tax refunds coming out, that would be a really good way to set up an emergency fund. Ideally you'd want to put it in a high yield savings account. Some of those savings accounts now are around 2% interest, some of the ones online. So if you just took your refund check and put that right into an emergency savings account, you could have step one completely done or start that, and then you just want to start contributing to it on a monthly basis. Make it automatically right out of your paycheck, so that way you don't have to think about it. It just automatically goes into your emergency fund. Any dollar amount that you can afford to do it, whether it's $50, $200, $500, whatever that would be, but just a consistent basis to build up that emergency fund until you have 3 to 6 months of expenses. It doesn't have to necessarily be liquid. Mine is not liquid. Mine's actually in a money market account, and I do trade it with stocks. Just know that if you do something like that, it will take a couple days to get those funds out to use that. So once you have your emergency fund in place, the next thing you really want to do is hit up that company 401k match. If your company doesn't have a 401k, move to the next step. But if your company does have a 401k, you want to make the employer match. Now typically that's for a number of companies that's anywhere from 3 to 5%. Make sure you look into that with your HR professional at your company. Very, very important that you make that match, because the company is basically going to give you that free money with the match. Now, and ideally, when you make that match, if it's a 5% match, you put in 5%. That's 10%. That's ideally what you need for retirement. You want to get anywhere from 10 to 15% for regular contributions for retirement. Again, make sure you automate this so it's automatically coming out of your paycheck. 5% isn't a lot just to get a 5% match, and that ends up being a total of 10%. Really, really good way to boost your account. For you TSP folks that are BRS, this is a great way. Make sure you are matching that 5%, so that way you're getting your entire match from the military. So the next thing is, once you have your company's match and you have your emergency fund in place, the next thing you want to really tackle is any debt. Now the first debt you want to look at is the ones with the highest paid interest. So you're looking at credit cards and then car loans and then like a mortgage. You really want to hit that debt up really, really hard. Now the only thing I would exclude from this is maybe your home mortgage. So maybe you would leave that out to start, but any other debt such as credit cards, like I mentioned, car loan, any of that stuff, get that paid off. Once you have that paid off in that debt, then you can start looking at some other saving vehicles. You can either look into a Roth IRA or a traditional IRA. The account balance went up for 2019. I haven't updated this, but it's now $6,000 that you can contribute to either of these accounts. Really, really good way to save money. The reason you only contribute up to your company match here and then you invest in a Roth IRA after paying off your debt is because with a Roth IRA or traditional IRA, any contributions that you add to those funds, so any money you put in, you can take out tax-free. So it acts almost as a secondary emergency fund. Now you can't take out the gains or any interest you may gain in those funds, but contributing $6,000 a year to these accounts and being able to withdraw that with no penalty is amazing. Whereas with a 401k, you won't be able to withdraw that until you're 59 and a half, or unless you have disability or something else. But you're not going to see this money for a very, very long time. So with this, it's almost acting as like a second savings account in a sense. Now you don't want to touch that, but it's almost liquid, so it's there and it's available for emergencies in a sense. But ideally, you wouldn't want to touch that either and let it grow tax-free. With traditional, you're paying the taxes later, and with the Roth IRA, you're paying taxes up front. So just keep that in mind. Now, if you and a spouse both have an IRA, you can contribute up to $12,000 to these accounts. That's a lot. So just keep that in mind. So yes, you want to get that company match and then move into the Roth IRAs with you and your spouse to max those out. Now, if you have your emergency fund, you're doing your company match, and you paid off all your debts, and you have your Roth IRA funded, the next thing you want to really look into is maybe upping your contribution to your 401k. Now, the way I would consider doing that is just whatever pay raises you're getting per year. So if that's a 5% pay raise or a bonus, I know in the military we get a pay raise almost every year. That 1 or 2%, you're just going to add that to your TSP contribution through your MyPay portal and just up that contribution. Ideally, you'd want to eventually get your 401k match up to about 15% with company match or without it. Or if you could get up to 15% just you, and then have the match meet you up to 20%, that would be an incredible savings while maxing out your IRAs, and would really, really set you up well. Ideally, you want to start early on this, but if you start later, that's okay. Like I said, get it up to 10% of you contributing at least, and then have that match meet you 15%. Now, if you don't get a match for your TSP, or if your 401k doesn't get a match, you want to get it to about 15%, 10 to 15%, whatever you can afford with that. Once all these steps are complete, guys, the next thing you want to do is really start saving and investing. You can open up an individual brokerage account, and you can put money into there. But that's after all these steps are complete. And the reason we say this last is because that's going to be taxable. Whatever you make in those index funds or a brokerage account or anything else, just know that is going to be taxable. The only other thing you could throw in here is maybe a health savings account, but I really don't recommend that unless you can fund your IRAs to max. Maybe you could fit a health savings account, a HSA in here, but I would just go right with that 401k. That 401k is going to be really good. Try to make it a Roth 401k so you don't have to pay interest on it later in life. And then, like I said, can save more if you're doing all these steps, which is really incredible. If you can knock out all these steps, that is amazing. You are ahead of more than I would say more than 80% of the U.S. population. So you want to move that to savings, and you can move that to like your emergency savings fund, increase that. Investments, which is a brokerage account, a taxable brokerage account, or you could start paying off your mortgage, making an extra mortgage payment to your house. That's the only debt I would leave that I wouldn't put in this step here. I would leave that all the way here at the very bottom. And it falls right in the line with some of these steps. This isn't new, guys. Some other people that really preach very similar or the exact same as someone like Dave Ramsey says the exact same thing. Now, if you guys have questions, go ahead and write those in the comments below. Really appreciate you guys watching the video. And that's another top-notch video. We'll see you guys next time.